Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are here to talk about sinners. So I know I'm late to the party, but I always feel like it's better to be late than not show up at all. So I'm here and I just want to get my thoughts about Sinners. It was such a good movie to me. It was everything we needed. I am a huge vampire genre fan, and I love how Ryan Coogler mixed the history with the vampires. I just love it. So I just want to talk about it and give my thoughts and just my perspective because I always enjoy hearing people's perspective. So we're just going to start off with this is a movie, Sinners, by Ryan Coogler. Directed it, wrote it, produced it, everything. And it's about two brothers, Stack and Smoke, who basically come back from, well, not the war. They left 7 years ago to go fight in the war. But after they left the war, they took a stop in Chicago to get their criminal on, I guess. And they got down with Al Capone. And, it was clear that one was on the Irish mob side and one was on the Italian mob side. And they stole from them both, blamed them on each other, and bust up. So they stole money, Irish beer, and Italian wine. And this was around the Prohibition era, so that was big, big money. Okay, because everybody wanted a taste, but it was still illegal. So anyway, yeah, they come home, and right from the jump, you can see, like, one of my favorite scenes is when you first see Stack and Smoke on the car, and Stack is rolling up the cigarette to get a smoke. You can tell right there their energies are so extremely different. And even when they handle the owner of the sawmill, supposedly, they handle him totally different. You can tell Stack is he always gonna keep it light. He gonna find a way to keep it light and get what he need. And Smoke ain't about that business. He just not. He don't got the patience. He don't got the time. Let's get down to it, or we can get down to it. So I love that scene, really showing just the subtle things, how different they are. Michael B. Jordan did an amazing job playing them two brothers and believing that they are totally different. I feel like if I knew them, like if I was there in that time and I knew them, I'd be able to tell them apart just by speaking to them. Maybe not by looking at them. Maybe with their wardrobe I would tell them apart. But say they had the same thing on, just walking up to them, talking to them, the first sentence that came out their mouth, I think I will always know them apart because that's how different their energies are. So, Stack is funny, charming. He got tons of energy. He love to have a good time. And Smoke he's focused. He paranoid. He is paranoid to me. And he ain't about them games. So you see that right off. They go pick up Sammy, who is their little cousin who has, like, great, amazing gift for music. And then after that, they go get the stash. Now, the one thing I like about the stash scene going to pick up the truck is that the snake was in there. I think the snake was foreshadowing what was about to come because snakes, of course, bite people or bite anything just like vampires do. And he was going for Sammy, so I think I love that little dynamic of the foreshadowing that was coming in the movie. So they have to split up, and Smoke go get the supplies. That's when we run into Bo and Grace, who owns a grocery store. Well, they own two. They making that money. One's white for the white people, one's for the black people. They on two opposite sides of the street. And Asians was able to weave in and out of both races like that back then. So it was very profitable for them back in those days. And I love the whole little dynamic with Stack teaching the little girl how to hustle, how to bargain. That was so cute. Like not Stack, I'm sorry, Smoke. I needed Smoke. When I was a kid, I needed Smoke to be like, look, this is what you do. You put 5 on 20, 20 on 10. Like, I need all that. So I'm pretty sure she was able to take that and secure much wealth with that information and that knowledge. And it shows how he gave back to the community always, even though, Smoke is so kind of stern and you don't know if he like you or not, but he does show in those little scenes. He shows he have a heart, just like he shot the dudes. One of them was his boy, and he got him patched up, because even though you stealing, I ain't gonna let you be out here dirty. So it definitely showed that he had a heart. After that, then we follow Stack going to get the entertainment, which is where we run into Delta Slim. And this is where I don't understand. Why didn't Stack start with the beer? That's what I would have did. Like, you going to talk to a legend, but he an alcoholic. You probably could have just got him to play for them beers. I mean, for real. Because any money you was talking, he wasn't trying to hear it. But right when you cracked that beer, he was like, what is that? Like, I was like, see, that's why we need Smoke there, because you could tell Smoke is probably the better hustler. Smoke would have just been like, look, I'm going to give you 20 beers, have a ball. And you could have saved that money, because clearly y'all needed the money. Y'all didn't know y'all needed the money yet, but y'all later on found out y'all needed the money. And paying Delta Slim $40 back in the 1930s was like $900. I looked it up. I was like, Jesus Christ. I need a gig for $900. Like, for real. And I'm just having a good old time, too. Like, that was some big money. $20 was big money. So, Stack ain't know how to hustle. Like, he ain't know how to bargain. Yeah, so then after that, which it was hilarious to me. But after that, we saw Mary. Mary heard her man. She heard him like, hold up. Oh, that sounds like my man. And turned around and was like, excuse me. I didn't like how she kept calling Sammy boy. I don't know if it was a race thing. I just know, I think she looked at him as a kid, because he was a kid. I feel like Sammy was a hot 19. But about to be 20 in June or something like that. But she went up to him, and she didn't appreciate him busting up on her in the middle of the night. You done been the love of my life, gave me the night of my life, and then just disappeared. Oh, I've been waiting to see you. That's how she came up to him. But then Sammy meets Perlene, who is about them streets. Okay, let's be honest. I mean, Perlene had nothing but sexual energy all over her. I was just like, girl, like, I don't know if I want to get with you or not. Like, okay, hey, very beautiful woman. But yeah, she about that life, Sammy. I definitely think she is too much for him, and would have gave him a whole run for his money. So, but let's talk about the walkaways from the women, though. Oh my God, the walkaways was beautiful. Mary gave straight up, I'm sexy, but I'm mad. And Perlene gave, come and get it. Like, follow me, boy. Like, that was her walk away. I mean, for real. So it was very interesting to see, nonetheless. Okay. So then we get to Smoke going to see Annie. And Annie is, I mean, they say his estranged wife, but I'm not even sure, because I don't even think Ryan has said if Annie's his wife or not. I think we all just assume that's his wife because they had a child together. But regardless, that's his lady. That is his woman. Wife, baby mama, girlfriend, whatever. We ain't even gonna say baby mama, Lord. But let's just say wife. Like, so, that's his wife. So she revamped his mojo bag that she gave him before he went to the war. And she seemed pissed too, honestly. Like, she seemed like you just dipped out too. Because she wasn't super happy to see him at first. But then she got her just desserts after she did revamped his mojo bag. She revamped her bag, okay? She was like, let me get in where I fit in right now, okay? So I love their relationship and their energy. She fits him so well. She seems, serious and has a very in-depth energy just like him. So, and so does Mary. Mary fits Stack very well. It seemed like they just be out partying all night, just having fun. So I love the women, how the women fit the men, and why you could tell the men were attracted to the women they chose. I love that as well. And so then after that, we go to Remick falling out the sky. He not. He just running. He running from the Choctaw Indians, who in this world are the vampire hunters, which I love that. Okay. Let the indigenous people be the vampire hunters. I love that. I wonder if he did that because, the British took over everywhere in America. I wonder if it was a reason why. Well, I'm pretty sure it was, but I really love that he did that. And I would love to hear their backstory and see a movie about them. It's so many different movies and dynamic in ways. He can really play around with this if he wants to go further with the Sinners universe. He can turn this into a whole universe. He really could. So, and that's when we meet Bert and, what's her name? Joan. Bert and Joan. They are, they racist. Ku Klux Klan people. And he plays his little southern accent and, act like a foolish man, which I guess he felt like he'd get sympathy for because they foolish men, most Ku Klux Klan, all Ku Klux. So he does that whole thing to get inside the house. Now the Indians come and try to warn him, but I feel him. Like we would have had a powwow for just 2 seconds before we went to the door. Like, do we really gotta go? Let's just let him. He's fine. We'll come back for him later. And we would have went home. But they tried to give him a warning because they got good hearts. Okay. And of course they didn't listen, and they were just ignorant people as they are. So after that, we go on to the juke joint. We about to start getting the juke joint rolling. Everyone arrives. All the sinners, I guess. I guess they all sinners if they there. I would have been there. I know for a fact I would have been there. I know both my best friends would have been there. I know all my cousins would have been there. all my coworkers would have been there. So we all would have been sinners. My sister only would have been there if it was like a dude there that she was feeling. Then she might have went. She might have go just to see him. But if he wasn't there, my sister wasn't gonna be there. She's not a sinner. But all the rest of us would have been there. I would have been right up in there having a good old time, listening to some great music. But yeah, so Mary comes and Stack finally confesses love and tells her how much he loves her and why he left her. And it was real short. I'm making it sound a lot longer and meaningful than what it was. It was straight to the point, but it was heartfelt. I would have cried too if I was Mary. And after that, Perlene show up. Ready. Okay? Ready. She is ready. Okay? And she came and eventually performed for free. Lord, they got free entertainment out of her because she got paid. Okay? So it didn't matter. She was in a great mood after that. So she towed down the house. Okay? But even, before that, this is where we had where Perlene came and she was ready. And Sammy delivered, as much as he could. I mean, honestly, let's be honest. He probably was a virgin. So as much as he could. But it was enough. It was enough. So then after that, Sammy does his amazing performance. And that is the highlight out of this whole movie. To me, in my opinion, that scene is the best scene in movie history. I stand by it. Okay. And you can bring up all kind of scenes. You know how many movies I love? You know how many scenes are just, to me, deep down in my soul, important? And this one gonna trump them all. They just gonna trump them all. I'm sorry. It was just so beautiful. He sings a song dedicated to his father. And he awakens all of his ancestors and descendants. So you're talking about predecessors and ancestors. Like, it was amazing. It was really a great scene. I do feel like you could see, like, at least with Perlene, I know the two girls dancing on the side of her, I know those are her ancestors. They followed her around that whole place. Like, if you really pay attention, you could tell who ancestors belong to who. Like, we already know, of course, Bo ancestor and Grace ancestor. Like, that was probably the main obvious. But even Cornbread, like, when Remick was looking at the house and you see, and the house was on fire, if you see Cornbread just sitting there, you see somebody dancing right next to him, which I think that is his ancestors. I think the only descendants that was there was Sammy's. I feel like everybody else died. I think everybody else died. So that would mean like the Run DMC dude, the LL Cool J dude, the break dancer. I feel like the twerker, the Alvin Ailey ballerina. You know, I feel like all those were connected to Sammy, because even at the end, when Remick is looking at it as well, looking at the house burn down, you can see it shows Sammy again. And all of those people, even the twerk girl that was in the kitchen, all of them are surrounding Sammy. You can see them all right next to him. So I do think all of those were his descendants. Even though I'm pretty sure people in there had kids, you know, so I don't know why they descendants weren't in there. Or maybe it was. Maybe those was just like, you know, because there was a lot of other people. It was like the Cali people, and, you know, the red and blue was there and all of that. So, you know, maybe other people descendants was there. But I know the ones that were surrounding him at the end, I really felt like those are his. So, yeah, and then that attracts Remick. And Remick is like, oh. Yes, because Remick is from Ireland, you know, originally. When I looked up about Remick, I thought he was not a vampire before he came to America. I don't know why I just assumed that, but I read that he was a pagan vampire. And when the British came and colonized Ireland, they also got to the vampires as well and pushed Christianity. You know, that's when Christianity really spread, and they pushed all that on to them. And this is in real life happened to Ireland with the British colonizing Ireland and spreading and pushing Christianity on them. But this is also in the vampire community, and that would be interesting to see how they did that. I would have liked, you know, that would have been that's a good movie too, to see how they did that. But at the end, when they talk about, you know, the boat that only had blood on it, it was an empty boat, where they're assuming is how Remick got to America through that boat. You know, it shows that he was already a vampire. He was a vampire. So I guess we got to learn Remick's tale on who his maker is or whatever, and who made him a vampire. That would be nice too. Like I said, there's so many different stories and ways you can go with this movie. It's wonderful. Oh, he did such a good job. Let's just give him praise again. Give him praise again. Yes, Ryan. Then I got my little notes, because, you know, you gotta make sure you cover everything. But so they come and they try to get let in with a nice little tune. I mean, it don't fit the juke joint at all, but it was a nice little ditty. I would have been like Stack, like, okay. Whoop, 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 whoop. Pick or Robin clean. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Like, that's what it was like. Okay. And of course, they're denied entry. And then Smoke talked to Stack and Annie and basically tell them, we don't got no money. Everybody been down here paying in this plantation money. And it was more than what Stack assumed it was going to be. Because honestly, think about it. Say they had both of the same money. Like, say they had real US dollars and the plantation money. If you could use the plantation money, you're just going to use that. You're not going to use your real US dollars. So I feel like even if they came in with both, they're still going to use the plantation money. So I actually agree with Smoke. I don't feel like you should have started it at all. I felt like maybe you could have got the catfish. Like, I would have said you can get food with it, but you can't get liquor. Because you can use those to get catfish, right? Because that's the general store. So can't you go get supplies and catfish? So that's what I would have said. So that way, you know, you don't got money for liquor. Too bad. Hopefully somebody buy you a drink, but you can get some catfish. You want some catfish? You know, and that would have been a way to still make them feel like it's their own, but still not just lose money. So I agree. But because that happened, you know, Mary comes up with this brilliant idea. Sarcasm is what I'm giving you, okay? To go talk to the white people, Remick, Joan, and Bert by herself. Now, even if they wasn't vampires, I would not agree with that. Like, you act like it ain't just dangerous people out here, and you just one little girl. You're like, hey, I'll go out with 3 of them and go holler at them. I just don't think that was smart, vampire or not. But then to see, at which we got another great tune. They can, you know, I learned the woman who plays Joan is a real singer, and the man who plays Bert, he's a real singer too. He's a part of a group. I didn't look him up. I didn't find out who, but I did learn that they are real singers. And what's his name? John O'Connell is who plays Remy. He got a nice little voice on him too, even though I don't think he's known for singing it. You know, he doesn't sing, but he has a nice little voice on him too. So we got a nice little ditty again. And then Mary saw that his eyes changed the colors and he drooling. So she pulled out her pistol and started walking away. But then she turned around. And it didn't matter if she turned around or not. That pistol wasn't going to do nothing to him. So she still would have been turned into a vampire. Let's be honest. Everybody be like, why you turn around? Like, I even thought that too, but it didn't matter. She could have turned around but staring dead at him like, bye. She still was going to be turned into a vampire. So, of course, Mary can get in because she can just be like, cornbread move. Like, hello. So she get in, go straight to her man. See, when you a vampire, vampires are known to just have, because everything is heightened when you're a vampire. So your hearing, your sight, you know, even though they say vampires don't have feelings, they do. They be the most emotional, you know. And so, but your sex drive get heightened too, and she probably already was ready to give it to Stack. So now that she's a vampire, she really ready, because that was her whole intent. She was like, here go your gold. Boom. Like, I'm about to get this on while I turn you into a vampire. Now, I wonder if people thought, you know, Mary was wrong for turning Stack into a vampire. I don't know if you have a choice or how your emotions, or if you have restraints or whatever from, you know, we don't know. We ain't vampires, but from what we know of vampires, it seems like that was just gonna be the inevitable, that she was gonna turn him, and that's the love of her life. Of course, she gonna turn him into a vampire. So we get a nice little unique love scene between Mary and Stack. I don't know how I feel about the spit in the mouth. I mean, it was kinky, but I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, when you kissing, you just using the same saliva, but it is kinky. It was kinky. I was like, okay, like, what is this? So, but yeah, she turns Stack. She kills him, and we get a real heartbreaking scene with Stack, you know, passing away in his brother's arms. It was so heartbreaking. Like, I know being in that room, like, even Annie's, how she responded, looking like she knew what to do, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But she was just like, because it was such, like, for everyone in the theater, it's like, oh my God. Oh, that's your twin. He just gone in your arms. It was so emotional. I remember being on the edge of my seat. And I went to go see Sinners 3 times. And I was on the edge of my seat every time in every scene. So, you know, that was really interesting. And then, I gotta edit this. Okay. And then, so then we get that, and then we get, for some reason they well, of course it makes sense why they made everyone leave. You're gonna make everyone leave. And then, that gave Remick a little baby army. Just that quick. He got a little baby army. So then, of course, Stack wakes up, and we're going to fast forward through the rest of this. So I think the main thing is the showdown, like how everything happened with Grace. That's always been a big issue with Grace inviting him in. She realizes Bo is outside and he come and he be taunting her and threatening a child. So was Grace wrong? No. Her execution wrong? Yes. Because girl, let us plan this. Let us, I mean, I don't think it would have been smart to let daylight come and they go hide and then you don't know where they at and they can just like hunt you the next evening. I think let's handle this right now. But girl, give us time to get a plan. Like you just running off emotions. I need you to calm down and we'll work this out. So then the showdown happens, of course. Stack bites Annie because he already knew if he got Annie, Smoke would have came easily. I would have bet money on that. But, with the promise Annie made, that Smoke made Annie, saying that he'd kill her, that kind of spoiled Stack plans. I think Stack had plans where we're going to go get Annie, that's going to bring Smoke, and then we're going to separate from Remick and just do our thing. I really think Stack had a whole plan that didn't involve Remick the whole time after he became a vampire. That's why Mary went and ran and then get caught up in all that mess, Of course, we find out Stack and Smoke have a throwdown, and then Smoke kills Remick. And then all the other vampires get burned by the sun because they're infant vampires and they're not smart enough to know yet to go run and hide in shelter. So then, of course, we have Smoke handling the KKK like a boss. Like, I was like, all right, like a boss. And after that, we find out it jumps to, I don't know how many years later, but it jumps to the 90s. And then we see Sammy's an old man. That thing that got put on him was real because he named his bar Perlene's, or his juke joint. Maybe that's probably a juke joint or something. But now it's a bar because that's all juke joints were. He named it Perlene, so he was definitely in love. He fell in love that night. I mean, his nose was so wide open. But so then Mary and Stack come in and we find out that Smoke didn't kill Stack. He just told him, leave your cousin alone. And he kept that promise. He came and asked him, you want to be a vampire now? And Sammy like, no, I'm good. But who really want to be an old vampire? Like, the point of being a vampire is to be young and sexy and forever. And I don't want to be no old vampire, And then after that, it's a very sweet moment again. They have all these sweet touching moments. He hugs Sammy and they leave. And that's the end of Sinner. So, yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It was a 10 out of 10 to me. So, yeah, give me your thoughts and comments, and let's talk and discuss and have some fun below. So, and I'll see you later. All right, bye-bye.